Yes, you guys, welcome back, man. How you guys are doing today? I'm Nimi FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today we have some more reports to break down, discuss, and dive into. For the reports today, we're going to discuss the latest news surrounding Trevor Chalobah and a potential move to West Brom. After that, we're going to discuss more Koundé updates, and courtesy of Mars YouTube channel, he had on the amazing journalist Julien, who discusses our interest in Camavinga and Lacroix from Wolfsburg as well. So we have a ton of things to talk about for today, you guys. I hope you enjoy. If you're happy to see my face again, show some love, hit that like button, smash the like button, you guys. And before we get into things, I need to get one quick plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by OneFootball, and right now, if you guys still have not downloaded OneFootball during the summer, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you are missing out. Of course, OneFootball has been an amazing hub to get all your latest Euro 2020 news. The tournament is now finally about to wrap up very soon. We have the final this Sunday, you guys. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest news surrounding Italy, surrounding team lineups, team news, etc, then OneFootball is for you. So if you guys want to help support the channel as well, go to the description, download OneFootball, and make yourself a very happy individual. Without wasting any more time now, we start with the first story and we discuss the latest news surrounding Trevor Chalobah and interest from West Brom. Now, this news was quite surprising. It came courtesy of Nizar Kinsella from goal.com. And it seems like after Trevor's very successful loan spell at Lorient last season, where, he really ended the season very strong at Lorient, especially during that second part of the season where he played more games as a defender in a back three. For me, it's quite interesting news. Recently relegated West Brom are in the market to sign him. Personally, I do feel like Trevor could, of course, maybe continue to play in Ligue 1 and hopefully wait for better opportunities to come. However, at the same time, West Brom are one of those teams who constantly find themselves getting promoted again. They do have a good infrastructure there as well, a good training facility as well too. So on paper, I could understand if a move like this did interest Trevor. To be honest, I've always felt that he's very talented. I've always felt like he's been very exceptional at playing out from the back. And after playing a full season in Ligue 1, when he was basically playing nearly every game, he demonstrated that he has the capability to play at top flight level. I don't know. It's interesting. West Brom, of course, there would be game time for him, but he could play in defence and in midfield as well. The championship really has improved, so I would understand this move if it was to happen. I think one of the realities is that when you have an academy like ours that is constantly producing talents that are good enough to play at top flight levels, realistically, you can't keep them all. Of course, Trevor, you can imagine he wants to fulfill his potential. He wants to maximize his career, and being a squad option really isn't the best thing to do. So let's see how the story does continue on, you guys. Good luck to him. And now we move on to the second story today. Now, you guys are very familiar with this YouTube channel. He's guested on my channel many a time, and he has an amazing channel that continues to grow and grow and grow. Of course, I'm talking about Mar, and recently he had on the renowned journalist Julien, where he got some very interesting news from him. Now, the stories I'm going to focus on will be on Lacroix and Camavinga after Laurent discussed them. But of course, you guys as well, in the comments below and of course in the card above, there is going to be a link to that live stream. You guys show some love, subscribe to Mar. He's one of those guys that will be part of this community for a while. And, that's how he's moving with his channel. So it's going to be very exciting to see. So we now start with Camavinga first. And Laurent does state that, yes, we know that United might be leading the race for him at this point in time. However, he spilled the beans on the fact that we have made contact with Camavinga's agent over a potential move. Now, what I find quite interesting is the fact that Camavinga's valuation now is a lot more competitive. Right now in Ligue 1, things aren't as rosy as they could be. We know that with the collapse of the TV deal recently, that really just affected many clubs financially. And on top of that too, COVID, the lack of stadium revenue has affected clubs dramatically, meaning that lots of clubs have to sell, and those players being sold will be made available for more competitive prices. Originally, reports say that Rennes wanted 70 million euros to allow Camavinga to leave. Right now, it seems like business can be done between 30 to 40 million, which is, an amazing bargain for a player that has all the potential to become one of the best midfield players in the world. Anyway, you guys, we do continue on, and Laurent does state that Petr Cech, after the very recent successful signing of Edouard Mendy, he is a massive fan of Camavinga, and next season, ideally, he would like to see him. I think this is quite interesting. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions. And before I do that, I have to state again that Laurent didn't categorically state that we are destined to make a move for him this window. He's only reported that we have held conversations with his agent and, the club over a potential move, which is standards. Personally, though, it's quite interesting. I think that if we were to sign him, it guarantees that midfield player would have to leave. And on top of this as well, what does it mean about the long-term future of Billy Gilmour? Is a Camavinga potentially just taking that pathway out the team for Gilmour, who recently has signed for Norwich City? Now, lots of fans do feel like, is the move to Norwich the best one? Was Gilmour not good enough to compete for more minutes next season? Is it a wise move to a team that one of the favourites to be relegated for next season? How's it going to boost his chances of getting more first-team minutes at the club for following seasons? I guess these are things that will be answered over time and things we'll find out. But, I think Camavinga is an incredible talent. We know that Tuchel is a massive fan. You guys know the quotes that Tuchel made about Camavinga back whilst he was at Paris Saint-Germain, saying that he's one of the best midfield players in Ligue 1. And of course, he'd be very fortunate to have him. So let's see what happens on that front with Camavinga. But, I feel like I was one of the first guys to report interest in him like months and months back. But anyway, we now move on to the second part of Laurent's report, and we turn our attention to Lacroix from Wolfsburg. Now, it's a very short one. He states that Lacroix is someone that Tuchel is a massive fan of, and in fact, Thomas Tuchel has been following him very closely. I'd imagine it's going to be him and his team. We know that they follow players like Upamecano, Kounde, etc. So it is no surprise there, because I guess on paper, he is a Tuchel defender, tall, physically, incredible as well, very good on the ball, good defending, and can play in a back three and in a back two. Again, he could be another player available for a very competitive fee. So we are going to find out what happens with the centre-back situation. However, the reality is, though, you guys, a lot of it will depend on players that do get sold first. Now, Laurent does go on to state that Lacroix is really wanting to stay for one more season before deciding his career. Now, for me, this makes a ton of sense. If I was him in his position, I'd be focusing on playing week in, week out. With the minutes I'm getting currently at Wolfsburg, improving my game and getting my game to a level that is ready for a top team. Because there's no point moving if you're not guaranteed those consistent minutes. Of course, it's interesting that Tuchel has been paying great attention to him, following him very, very closely. For me, though, with pre-season literally arriving around the corner now, we have many great talented defensive players, and I think this is a great opportunity for Tuchel to fairly assess all the options he currently has before we, focus on delving into the market for a position that we are currently stocked in at this point in time. I mean, we can't forget that we have some of the highest clean sheet records from all of last season. You can't do that by accident. You can't fake stuff like that. And I don't know, you guys, as I'm saying, if Rudiger, Christensen or Zuma decided to leave, then we would be in the market for a defender. But Lacroix is definitely talented. I think recently RB Leipzig had a 20 million bids turned down, and there's also interest from Tottenham Hotspur. So he's definitely going to be a player that will continue to make a name for himself in Europe. Of course, last season at Wolfsburg, he played a crucial part in their efforts last season, really helping them improve from a defensive point of view too. They're in a good position right now, and you want to time your move. You've got to time it, because that's the most important thing in football, you guys. So right now, we now move on to the final story today. Anyway, we now move on to the final story for today, and we have some more updated news surrounding our interest in Koundé from Sevilla. Now, this story comes courtesy of El Desmarque from Spain, and they report that potentially we are going to be making a move for Koundé this window. And it was the energy from the article. There was like this assurance, there was this confidence. I don't want to say arrogance, but they felt very certain that this will be something that does happen this window. At this point in time, we know that Sevilla want between 70 to 80 million euros to allow Koundé to leave. And what's really slowed down Koundé's move and Koundé moving on to progress his career is due to Raphael Varane. Now, we know that he will be leaving Real Madrid. Due to this, of course, all the big clubs who are after centre-backs are now prioritising Varane over him, naturally due to the fee and the experience that you're instantly getting for your team as well. So, you know, at this point in time, it seems like maybe us and Man United, as the reports does state, are the main two clubs looking at the player. The report states that Koundé could easily be attracted to our prestige, our ambition, and how we're developing as a team as well. And of course, we know that he's a defender that can play out wide as a fullback. He can play in a back three and in a back two as well. So, you know, technically he is very, very strong. He's one of those guys that kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Mascherano, in the sense it's like, you know, a midfield player that plays in defense. That's how comfortable he is on the ball and how good he is at playing out. But you guys, as I was alluding to before, the issue though when it comes to signing defenders is that we have to sell a defender first. Let's cast our minds back to last summer when we signed Ben Chilwell, even though we still had Emerson and Marcus Alonso. Now, due to us signing Ben during the time we did, it then meant that all the clubs who were showing interest in signing Emerson and Alonso decided to play the long game and try to sign them for reduced fees, because they all know that, of course, you know, you've got 3 left backs. It's impossible to satisfy all of them. In a sense, we lost some of our negotiation power, so we can't afford to do that again. The plan for the centre back position and up front as well is to sell a player first. So it's interesting, but we're still looking at defenders, and maybe we're guaranteed to see one defender leaving this window. You guys in the comments below, what defender do you feel could be leaving, or what defender do you feel you would like to see go if it meant signing better players for next season? So you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.